The left-wing plot against Priti Patel fails, and we talk about Boris Johnson's new chief of staff and the upcoming cabinet reshuffle. Hello everyone and welcome to the second video of the day. I'm sure you've all been following all this saga around Priti Patel being a mean boss, right? So this came out a few months ago at first when the head of Home Office, Sir Philip Rodnam, was forced to resign because he was like, oh, Priti is being mean to me. And then it went quiet for a while. And suddenly, out of nowhere, now that Priti has been now trying to push to fix the migrant boat crisis and also her Australian-style migration system from January, somehow the whole thing's kicked off again, and more senior top civil servants have been crying in the corner in the Home Office because she's a mean boss. Alison Pearson has written in the Telegraph that most Brits actually back Priti's hard line against the leftist snobs. It's a fair point because what's been happening is that, on this channel I've been trying to be objective. I've even criticized the government a lot recently with some of the policies and the lockdown, but also some of the government ministers being absolutely chaotic. The Home Office been shambolic, but Priti Patel herself has tried her best to fix this situation. Obviously, she has to take responsibility as Home Secretary, but it's the Home Office that is corrupt. Now, this is interesting because there's this report that was written by Sir Alex Allen about this whole Priti Patel being a mean boss. And in this report, he said that Priti has become, justifiably in many instances, frustrated by the Home Office, the leadership's lack of responsiveness. The evidence is that this has manifested itself in forceful expression, including some occasions of shouting and swearing. This may not be done intentionally to cause upset, but that has been the effect on some individuals. And then Alison says, did it really make civil servants feel uncomfortable, frightened, less respected, which meets the civil service definition? There's the thing. So a lot of these people haven't worked in the private sector. They don't know that, not that it's a normal behavior, but firstly, the allegations against her have been proven to be untrue anyway. But at best, at worst, what she's done is she walks in, and I know, but there's one instance when Nigel Farage exposed how the migrant boats, the Serco has been sending the illegal migrants to Priti Patel's constituency to stay in a hotel. She didn't know about it. She went to the Home Office and she was furious to try and find out what's been actually happening. So just because she was furious and was demanding to get things done, apparently that's quite mean these days. It's absolutely nonsensical. Do you know why? Because the Home Office have been shambolic for a long time. You've heard of the Windrush situation. Obviously, if you listen to Jeremy Corbyn and Momentum, they say it's the Tories' fault. But this has been happening since the Labour government. And hardly any of the ministers knew about it because these sort of scandals, the cover-up, happen deep down in the Home Office on a bureaucratic level. And no one did anything about it. And this has become one of the weirdest scandals that we've had. And very unnecessary. So there is no reason for the bureaucrats in the Home Office, especially the senior ones, to kick off and cry about Priti Patel being a mean boss. There's been a lot of changes recently in Whitehall. Some departures. We've had Dominic Cummings and Lee Kane leaving Downing Street, and the Vote Leave gang who were trying to obviously do a shake-up. They started their shake-up, but that's not been completed yet. And we now have a replacement. It's an interesting character. We have Dan Rosenfield, who this Guido's headline makes you think that he was best friends with George Osborne, but he was a civil servant working in the Treasury with the Chancellor and obviously also the Prime Minister's office. He's now Boris Johnson's new Chief of Staff. I'm slightly skeptical because of certain things that I've heard about him, but I've also heard some good things. I think he's very smart, he's very hardworking, he's got some good ideas, but we'll have to kind of see. So let's get into it to find out who Dan actually is. So he worked as private secretary to George Osborne and Alistair Darling, the former Labour Chancellor in government. So that's the whole point. So these guys work with anyone who's in government, regardless of party. He's an experienced Whitehall operator and a rather different figure to Prime Minister's earlier pick, Lee Kane. there's quite a difference between Lee and Dan, a senior Tory has said. This is where I become skeptical, because I can accept that Dominic Cummings and Lee Kane and that group were imperfect. There was a lot of chaotic situations, but that's what Dominic Cummings warned us about beforehand. He did say back in January that the way I will operate, at times it will seem chaotic, but that's just how we do things. We need a shake-up. This whole thing is, the system is not working. We need to do a shake-up. So it seems like Dan is not really pro shake-up. So let's follow up, because one of his friends has said that he has made it clear to the Prime Minister that the marked culture shift obviously is going to come to Downing Street. So he's basically said that he wants to stop these attacks on institutions. So I'm not really sure. He hasn't been specific about it, but we've been trying to reform the BBC, for example, the NHS, for example, Public Health England. So I wonder if he's talking about those, because that would be a bad sign. So back in 2008, he was involved in the Treasury during the financial crisis. And so they say that the business and the city will be relieved to have someone who can count and who understands basic economics in number 10. So on the count of competence, I'm sure he knows what he's doing. But on the count of the complacent establishment, I'm not quite sure if I'm happy that big business and the city will be happy with him. So I'm like, that sounds very much like your status quo that we've had. Understands basic economics. 2008 Labour government, the economic policy that came out of that government to try to fix the recession did not help. That was Keynesianism, and even during the Osborne era, the austerity that was implemented wasn't really even hardcore anyway. So I'm not sure what they mean by basic economics, but we'll find out. So he said that in 2008, Dan said, I was dealing with a job involving a lot of pressure, such as getting a call at 9 a.m. on a Saturday with instructions from the Prime Minister to do X, Y, and Z by Monday morning. So, okay, I've been quite harsh on him. Some credit and tribute, considering he had to deal with Gordon Brown on a Saturday at 9 a.m. on a phone call. So if he survived that, he's probably a tough cookie, because Gordon Brown was not easy to deal with. Now, a lot of the Vote Leave people are now leaving following the departure of Dominic Cummings and Lee Kane. We have Cleo Watson, who's also now leaving. Basically, the whole thing is going to be completely transformed and changed, and I'm quite still skeptical about this change. We'll have to wait, because with more Vote Leave people leaving, what is the reaction? Is the government going to become even more reactionary than it is now, to just please everybody? So this government reshuffle is now coming up, and I'm quite skeptical about this as well. The rumours that basically beginning of next year there will be a massive reshuffle, because Boris Johnson is quite afraid of his legacy being destroyed, but also his survival. So he firstly needs to get the support of his own MPs, and then obviously his party, then the country. Some of these choices are interesting, some of them are weird. So there are a lot of talks about some of the good talents getting senior jobs. Kemi Benadoct could be promoted to Treasury Minister. James Cleverly could become obviously they're talking about Foreign Office, like promotion within the Foreign Office, and the number of good talents could be promoted. On the other hand, it's a bit of a mixed bag. So Laura Trott and Claire Coutinho, who are two of the new MPs, are very good, but both of them come from your Westminster bubble background. There were SPAD, special advisors. One of them, Laura, was special advisor to George Osborne, and Claire was an advisor to Rishi Sunak before, and then think tanks and everything else. In the Westminster bubble, they are good, they are talented, but it's very much like the Westminster bubble lot. On the other hand, Numberton have also said to MPs who want to rebel. So it's all about obeying now. So they've said it will be made very clear that voting against the government means that 2 years in the wilderness. You won't get any promotion or anything. If the 2019 intake, the new MPs, want to be promoted, they can't rebel for the sake of it. So now they want to go hardcore on the new MPs as well, but they're going to keep them happy. So this is an interesting one. There's a rumour that Michael Gove will be moving, and he could move to health. Now, Michael Gove has a lot of flaws as a character, but is a very effective minister. Every department and he's joined, from education to justice and everything else, he's been very good at reforming it, and actually health is the one area that needs massive reform. And then maybe we could move into the Home Office afterwards. So that's probably good. This one is interesting again. Some of the new 2019 MPs, especially in the north, the Red Bull, they're trying to kind of it seems quite patronizing at times, but it's also like, where's the experience? They're going to promote some of them. They're also going to use people like Deanna Davidson and Miriam Cates as the face of the Tory government, send them to like do TV interviews, radio interviews to defend the government. I don't know. It's some of these changes are good. I get it, and it's needed. But some of it is quite gimmicky. It's very, very Blair. It's very Blairism. Reminds me of the 2000s, the Blair government, the PR stunts and everything like that. So I'm not sure if gimmicks as opposed to substance going to help Boris Johnson's legacy. But as I said, some of the changes, including the new chief of staff, he might turn out to be a good guy. I don't know. We don't know. So I'm not going to make any judgment just yet. So it's always good to question everything and everyone, including yourself. Always be skeptical. Don't just say yes to anything. And that's what we do on this channel. Try to be objective, still supportive, with a bit of caution. So thanks again for watching. Don't forget to get your latest I Believe in Britain merchandise. Get the hoodies because the winter's coming. Get the hoodies and the coffee mugs. Have your Christmas coffees in them with cinnamon. Why not? And if you're a member of the channel, you will get a special discount. Check out the link in the description to become a member. youtube.com/MayaTousi/join. Thanks again for watching. Have a great Saturday evening. I'm Maya Tousi, and I'll see you all in the next video.